Hey everybody, this is Tom with the Board Gamer. Today we're going to do a quick overview and review for this game. If you want the full how-to, go ahead and click this icon up here or the link in the description. Now let's get into it. Lizard Wizard is a 2 to 6 player game for ages 10 and up with an average gameplay length of 90 to 120 minutes. Published by Forbidden Games. The basic overview of Lizard Wizard has you collecting and selling reagents for mana, and use that mana to collect wizards through auctions, pair wizards and towers for victory points, and spells of the same school of magic for additional points. Unlock achievements, and once a deck is emptied, the game ends. The player with the most victory points wins. When I first heard of Lizard Wizard, I kept hearing that it was a stock market game. And my first thoughts were, ew. But once I sat down to play it, I was captivated. The mechanics of the game are, in simplest terms, a stock market. You gain reagents while increasing the values of others and then sell them for mana. And then you use this mana to bid on Lizard Wizards. And let me tell you, with the right group of people, this auctioning phase of the game is a highlight. You can either outbid the person who initiated the bid to begin with, or drive up the price and make them spend more mana than they desired. This really keeps the game interesting in my opinion. But enough feelings for now. Let's check out what magic is contained inside this box. Now for the components of the game, let's start large and work our way down to the smaller items in the box. The board is very smooth and is very thematic with its colors and tones. And the cards continue this dark and mythical theming. However, I do have a bit of a hang-up with these cards. My issue is that all the towers and familiars have the same exact look no matter the mana cost. And I understand they're supposed to represent the same exact thing just at a higher price. But I think maybe a different pose for the familiars or a different angle for the towers would have really bolstered their appeal. But that's not enough to hinder the game at all. Now, I have the standard edition and not the deluxe edition, so all of the mana, coins, and reagents are made of cardboard. Now that is not a complaint, that is just letting you know that there's also a deluxe edition out there. But I will complain about the mana coins. The blue numbers on top of the blue background makes it very hard for you to distinguish them from one another. The size changes ever so slightly depending upon the value of the coin, and the quickest way to really tell them apart is by the different shape cut out in the center of each one of these coins. Now this is something that I think hinders the game, especially when you're trying to strategize or just introduce new people to this game. But we'll talk more about that later. Finally, we have the reagent tokens that has very nice art to represent them and cut out to match their shape. This gives each of these reagents the feel of actual tangible things and helps improve the feeling you get when you play this game. Oh, and I also do want to mention the storage provided in this box. These plastic containers and the organization set up for everything in the game was spot on. Now I mentioned earlier the hindrance the mana coins have on introducing this game to new players. And this is not the only hurdle for new players. The way in which you score points in this game can be a bit confusing, especially since familiars are actually worth no points unless you activate a spell that makes them valuable. The familiars act as more of action cards that allow you to do more than what is normally allowed per turn. But on a positive note, this game likes to ramp up, so it's a bit easier to guide new players and watch them blossom into a true opponent by the game's climax. I think this slow start allows for an easy pre-game rules explanation. If you understand supply and demand, this is an easy game to pick up. But in order to win, you must be able to think strategically. Now, given the length of this game, I will say I have to be in the right mindset to play this game. That's nothing against this game. It's just that there are a number of games in my library, and sometimes when you only have a few hours to play, you want to play as many games as possible. But if you have under 2 hours to play a single game, this isn't a bad game to play. But I do think the replay value of this game depends on who you play with. For example, when players that take forever to take their turn come over, it really decreases its replayability. But when players that love to gamble and take risk, the replayability shoots through the roof. So basically, what I'm saying is know your group, and that will determine how often you replay this game. When discussing luck and strategy, this is 100% a strategy game. The only place I could really find luck was going into the dungeon. But since going there to begin with is not required to win the game, it would be considered a strategic move. This doesn't mean in order to win this game, you have to be a cold, calculated machine. It just means the more purposeful your moves are, the more rewarding they could be. And that's pretty much all I have to say when discussing luck versus strategy. Here in my home, we're very magic friendly, so the word wizard was enough to get my other half interested in the game. However, the words stock market game were met with a frown. But once we opened the box and saw the art and saw how it flowed from the board to the cards, it set that magical mood. The gameplay alone can be used with just about any skin out there. However, along with the types of reagents, along with the understanding that these wizards are seeking shelter in high towers to work on magic spells with the help of familiars, provides a setting that the theme can hold on to and appeal to the eye. The theme is gripping and magical, but it's only on the surface. Luckily, since the emotional connection the visuals provide are at least enough to grip you, the fact that the theme leaves once you take your first action goes unnoticed when replaced by, "Wow, look at this cool lizard wizard I just outbid everyone else on." To conclude, know your group and determine if this game is right for you. This board gamer says, Lizard Wizard is not boring, but it is sometimes hard to say 5 times fast. Lizard Wizard, Lizard Wizard, Lizard Wizard, Lizard Wizard, Lizard Wizard. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.